They'll probably say, where exactly are you going with this? I see you really trying to take it there. Old school flow, chew you out, ain't fair. Jordan pants don't...
Yeah, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zai. You already know. Like, I've been avoiding certain videos like lately because I know that YouTube tends to block certain videos or it had to be fact checked, which is just out there for everybody to see. So it's no need to really fact check it, except like when you speak about certain things that might be statistics and numbers and things of that nature, you want to get it right, because anything that YouTube finds that may be off by slightly, you could be off by, oh, it was 150 killings, but you were off by one. It was really 151 killings. Somehow that constitutes snatching your video down. So it's it's to be expected, not necessarily acceptable, but it's nothing you can really do about it, because you still want to be on YouTube saying what you want to say, preaching what you want to preach without being removed from the platform, seeing that there's none that really levels to this as far as like with reach. I mean, you got Twitch, you got other channels, but as far as like YouTube is a whole different monster, a lot easier to maneuver. Not necessarily your content, because everything is strike worthy when you're dealing with controversial subjects, and the simple fact that YouTube, as much as I appreciate you're still biased in a lot of different ways, but that's not what the video is about. This video is to address the people that continues to make comments on my videos. Well, I chose not to really go in on you. Don't mind the helicopter, but I chose not to really go in on you because I didn't want to seem like I was biased, even though there's something in me that just recognized what everybody else is recognizing outside of yours. The genocide that's taking place in Palestine. Now, you can get into statistics, you can get into numbers and how many people have actually died. You can see the imagery for yourself. It's as easy as going on Google or going YouTube or going other platforms that may be more macabre. And they'll show you every gruesome image you want to see. Like, if you're one of those that you want to do your research, you're into watching dead bodies of children and things of that nature, then by all means go on. There's many sites you can go where they're right there in the thick of it. There's some channels that will never really be glorified or just out in the open because they're so macabre as far as like showing imagery of dead unalive people, that they're not really going to put that on social media, because at the end of the day, people really don't want you to know what's going on in Israel. And for the most part, we know exactly what's going on in Israel. You're basically a bulldozer knocking down mountains, and not big mountains, but small mountains. Big mountains because it's a lot of people that you're trying to bulldoze over, but small mountains because it's nothing. It's not insurmountable, just due to the fact that you're not really going by anything that would make you human. It's no secret what's taking place. Now, there's a lot of people that's rallying against it. Like, they had this big protest that showed like the solidarity from Israelis, but then when you do your research, you notice that they're paying these people, kind of like when Soros did that whole Antifa and all that. They were paying these fools, setting up bricks. And you know what? Let me just make a small little mention, because I know when you're in the streets, you don't get a lot of mention as far as like in a positive thing. But I remember when all this stuff was taking place and Antifa was really putting out their whereas it's kind of funny that they say anti-fascist, but they're the most like, once you delve deeper into them, they're just as racist as a white supremacist. Like, it's just, especially if you don't see their way. If you can be black and be on the side of the right, as far as like you're a right winger, and they will consider you racist, which is, you know what I mean? Like, you're a supremacist, but you're as black as they. Like, and I'm sure there's people that are like that, but don't let me go too far from it. But like, how Antifa was out there and Soros was paying for all this allegedly and putting bricks in these different neighborhoods. Long Beach was one of those cities that wasn't having it. Like, when the Crips and stuff came out, like, they really like let them know, like, you ain't finna do this in our city, and if you get caught, the cops ain't gonna find you. Like, they're really on that page. Like, yeah, we do enough as far as like, so it's not on no moral thing, but it's like, okay, yeah, we tear up our city, but we try to keep certain things in line, because it's about business, it's about bringing in commerce and stuff like that. So there's actual jobs for them to work. So having some outside influence come and tear their city up and disappear, and they ain't even from there, they weren't having it. So shout out to you guys, whatever, you know what I mean? And for the people that hate on that, I mean, it is what it is. Like, there's some people that stand up for their neighbor, they're doing it in Watts right now. That's a whole different story. And they're trying to prevent people from just robbing that in their neighbor. They're like, go somewhere else and rob. But I don't want to stray from the sole intent of this video. This video is in response to the people that constantly come on my channel and say certain things. Understand this, man. You cannot get mad that people point out the fact that you are in fact usurpers. You are basically the distant cousin or the homeless man that just happen to constantly be searching around for a home, and then somebody allow you in, and the first thing you do is rob them. You're essentially a usurper. You're taking land that didn't belong to you. Imagine a person being arrogant enough or so blind and naive to the fact that you would believe that doing all the atrocities that you're doing right now and broadcasting on social media, that God would actually reward that. God didn't give you Palestine, you know what I mean? Because the British had it, the Ottoman Empire, like they did not give you Palestine. They allowed you in because you were their brother, and they didn't want to see you homeless, and you turned around with a financial benefactor that basically runs the world and used them to secure a spot in the world with a major superpower behind you, that being the United States and other countries that fall into place. Now, it's understandable everybody that did it, you know what I mean? Like there's been blocks that people take that necessarily didn't belong to them, but it's, you want to expand. For you guys, it's not only expansion, you just want to make sure that you X everybody out. So the only thing that's settled in what is formerly known as Palestine, nothing but Jewish communities. And a lot of people that come on here, they're like, oh, the Jews did this, the Jews did that, the NWCP and all that. But let's just keep it a buck. The reason that whole thing was formed was not necessarily for us. It was for you. And you still blame us for the one dude getting killed because he was in fact a rapist. And when he got caught, he tried to blame it on the black dude. And then when the cops, though they were white and you consider yourself white or some type of European, they weren't having it. They knew that you did the rape and you hung for it. So, you know what I mean? And the Jews have still not really got past that. Like, you see it, there's angst and animosity against blacks and Jews all throughout. Like, and there's people that I know, a couple I can count on my hand that are Jewish, and as time goes on, you start seeing the way they think, and it's perverse. Even the ones that have been with black dudes, you see it, like, or been with a black woman, you see it. It's still perverseness there. A shrewd way of thinking that regardless of your stature, as far as like not being, you know what I mean? You like to say that blacks are not human, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of things, you know what I mean? But it's just like, before you come on my platform, you start criticizing, you got to look into your past and see where you came from and where you going. And from what I see, you ain't going nowhere. The land that supposedly promised to you, that's not your land. And for the Christians that come on here and get to run in their mouth and, oh, we're not with the Muslims, we're with the Jewish don't even acknowledge Christ. What are you talking about? They want to sow them out. And let me just put this out here. I have nothing against Jewish people. I have things against Zionists because you see things a certain way. Your whole way of thinking is twisted, and no matter how many times you try to justify it, the proof is in the pudding. You got multiple people that think along the same line as you, and it's all about eradication. You say that the Muslims are terrorists, you say the Muslims are this, and the Muslims are savages, and they be put down, even their kids, like, you want to unalive them because they should not be able to breathe, and they're your blood, which is funny. But you guys believe that you can kill somebody because they are Christian or because they represent another religion. According to the Torah, anything that doesn't fall up under your book, and that's not, and this not even, let me say this, like, if it can fall up under your book, but it, like, if it's like, the black Israelites, the ones that are the original, like, you know what I mean? It's like, there's a lot of spewed on here, and I'm not going to get on here just because I'm not an Israelite. But you know what I'm saying? Like, when they start doing, even your own rabbis are saying who was the original. But That ain't what I'm talking about. Like, we can go into so many things, but I just want to point out the fact, before you get on here and try to make yourself a victim, go look at the imagery. Your prime minister is a freaking nutcase, straight out. And it's funny, he wasn't even about to face a case, and then all of a sudden all focus on removing the Palestine because they've came to one accord. Like, it's they're in cahoots with this. Like, okay, yeah, let's get rid of all these people. You know what I mean? Let's get rid of all these people, and that'll take the off of the fact that you're wanted for certain things. We're gonna essentially prosecute you. But when all is all said, and when you've did that, maybe your legacy will be that you eradicated all the Palestine originals that was right there before you put your stamp on it. But you're still gonna fry regardless. Like, it's things like that just go away. You're basically probably gonna be a patsy, and then in the end, after you do all that, you're still gonna get, you know what I mean? It just goes without saying. Like, your whole, and it's funny because, like, I can go into history, like, with the whole, like, the Muslims and, you know what I mean, conquering Spain before it was Spain, and where the Jews were there basically going to who they thought was the strongest. And in the end, of course, exactly doing the English are doing exactly what the U.S. is doing right now, protecting you and essentially eradicating the Muslims in Spain in order to establish, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of things to it. Like, that's why I say, like, you got to really dig. And you don't have to dig to people like, oh, what about the Holocaust? Like, I'm not here to speak on the Holocaust. Whatever transpired between them, that's what transpired between them. Like, I can't take nothing away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest, it's still genocide on blacks. Like, it's the most hated race, the most hated, like, in the world. Like, regardless of where you go to, there's always somebody. You're hated in certain parts of Africa just because you're of African descent, but they don't consider you African. It's like so much, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, but for the, you know, the Zionists, not the Jewish, but for the Zionists that come on my channel and you say whatever you say, I get it. Like, you're gonna try to strike every video that I put up. If you're a homie and you say that you're Jewish, dude, you're a convert. Just like them dudes that came from, you're a convert. You're not the original Israel, dude. Every Israelite I look at are fucking pale. Like, dude, they weren't. How you gonna be from the Middle East and you pale as hell? Like, that don't make no sense, dude. Like, really dig into your, like, you know what I mean? Like, even Jesus, like, his hair and like, it's so much stuff, dude. I can debunk so much stuff if I really wanted to, but it's just like, I just came on here to say what I needed to say. Like, there's nothing against your race in general, but it's against the things that you do, and you are genocidal. Like, it's something twisted about a lot of you cats, and especially you Zionists. Like, it's twisted. Like, I can go into your whole, like, you know, them one sect that, you know, about the circumcision and what they do to, like, look at all the pedophiles in your country and how you allow them to go back over there and your own people are chasing them. It's a lot of stuff, dude. It's so much secrecy, and just everything comes to the light, though. Like, you may be winning right now and doing your little injustice to Palestine, but eventually everything comes to a head. And I won't be surprised if, you know, one day something comes back on you. Like, when dude was trying to wipe you off the map and put you in concentration camps, it was atrocious. But you're doing the same to the Palestinians. So it's like, you know how they say, do unto others as done unto you. Like, but that's in a positive way. If somebody does something positive, do something positive. Do something negative, leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? But the way you guys are going about it, like, you're not even tripping off the fact that you're essentially gonna take out a whole race. Like, you're gonna eventually wipe them out, bombing hospitals and stuff. It's crazy. But anyways, like, my name is Zod. You don't like what you hear, so what? You want to try to strike my video because I'm telling you what it is, so what? Because at the end of the day, there ain't too much you can do to me. I mean, I know you guys like to dox and make up fake paperwork and do all this weird stuff, but I mean, it's easy for you to do because you think about it. You got the Rothschilds and everybody else backing you. I mean, and the people that call you out, always something weird happened to, you know what I mean? But my name is Zod, and I'm probably the most controversial I know, so deal with it. And for, like I said, the homies that are Jewish, no disrespect to you, dog, but don't come on here trying to criticize me and tell me what I can and I can't say, because at the end of the day, do you fall into the same category as them? And what category is that? I don't know. It don't matter. Anyways, my name is Zod, and I will be back at you with another video. And I'm out.
Kneel before Zod!